Hello and welcome back to the Keep Right On podcast. I'm Alex Dicken and today I'm joined by Jonathan Aronsson Fält from the Swedish newspaper Expressen to discuss all things August Priske. That is the pronunciation. I checked it out with Jonathan before we came on air, so thank you for that. And how are you doing?
I'm fine. Thanks for having me.
No, it's a pleasure. We want to know more about August Priske and what he is going to bring to the party at Birmingham City. Obviously, signed for 5.5 years. We hopefully will have him for a long while. So talk to us a little bit to begin with about his time at Djurgården, how he came to join the club and how really the supporters enjoyed watching him.
Yeah, well, it's been, I would say it's been quite a journey for him. He arrived to Djurgården in 2024. And his first season was quite up and down, I would say. Djurgården had another very, very good striker, which after that season left Djurgården. So when Djurgården went into 2025, there was quite almost panic, I would say, because this striker, he left quite quite late in the Swedish window. And Djurgården, I guess that you guys in England remember the game against Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. Djurgården played in Europe that spring, so they had to bring another striker, and they did. He didn't work out, so during the spring Djurgården had a lot of trouble, and Priske, well, it was ups and downs again. He scored 2 goals before the summer break, and there something happens. I've asked him so many times, and sometimes it's difficult even for him to actually nail what happened. But you can say that he went in Sweden. We play 30 rounds in the league, and going into round 14, Priske had scored 2 goals. Then there was a summer break. He scored 16 after that. So it's an explosion, you could say.
Yeah, what was he doing during that summer break?
That's the big question. But to be honest, it's been, when you talk to August and you talk to the manager and the assistant coaches, it's always easy to say those kind of things now, when he obviously became such a enormous success, but people are saying that we believe that this could happen all the way. And to be honest, I mean, he's a young guy. He's still 21, so it's not that weird that it took some time, and also a new country. You should say he joined from Denmark, and he's Danish.
Yeah, around £6 million. Here for Birmingham City, that would have been a big fee 18 months ago. All their record signings before they obliterated that record with Jay Stansfield for over £12 million were around the £6 million mark. So were Djurgården fairly compensated? Because reading about it felt like they wanted a little bit more like the Lucas Bergvall deal that they did 18 months prior.
Yeah, there was quite a lot of talk. The sporting director, as you say, he spoke about the Bergvall money during the autumn. And then, I mean, obviously there's been a lot of interest for Priske from many different clubs and leagues you could imagine. But also it's always a bit difficult in the January window as well. And I think that to August himself, he has always been. I mean, we've been talking to him about these rumors for like half a year. I mean, even last summer there were talks about Red Bull Salzburg, for example. So we have been able to talk to him a lot about his next step, which we, to be honest, all knew would come one day. But he was always quite clear about that, and I think he spoke about it in like the press release from Birmingham now as well, that the sporting project has been very important to him. But to answer your question, yeah, maybe I think that at least the supporters thought that they would get a couple of few more millions.
It's interesting that his dad was a footballer, quite a high profile football with Denmark, and obviously is a manager now. Do you feel like he's been quite well guided, because it feels like a specific route that he's taken? Like, he's gone to Djurgarden, played in the Swedish top flight, done very well there. Maybe could have moved on earlier and has taken his chance to go to probably one of the lesser names in terms of leagues that he's been linked with in the last couple of months, in terms of coming to the second tier in England and trying to get to the top flight. Kind of they seem like strategic and quite clever moves.
Yeah, and you have to say that he's also handled all this fuss around him brilliantly. I mean, there was very dramatic to go back to this Red Bull Salzburg story. It came basically out of nothing. It was in the end of the window where he just had started to score goals. And you can imagine, like, he's a young guy. All of a sudden, this, which, to be fair, I mean, Red Bull Salzburg that's quite a great sporting project as well. But no, he's been brilliant all the way. And also, I think you have to say that this sporting director, Bosse Andersson, he's maybe not like other sports director. He has his own style. And I think with these younger players who wants to take the next step, it has been working very well. So I think those two have very, very big respect for each other, and maybe also I could imagine that's why Djurgården in the end, I can imagine, let Priske have quite a big say about what club he actually wanted to join in the end.
Yeah, I mean, Jonathan, myself and all the Birmingham City fans who are listening and watching this have only really seen the clips on YouTube of Prriska and how he plays. Can you tell us more about him, the type of striker he is, and what we can expect to see?
I mean, first and foremost, I have to say that when you, I mean, I actually did it because I wrote a piece about his goal scoring and those kind of things in the end of the season, and actually for the first time I went back and watched all his 18 goals in 2025, and when you look at them, it's quite a funny sample size of goals, because I don't know if random is the right word, but he scored goals in all kind of ways. I mean, there's the header. That's one of his good qualities, I would say. Sometimes he tried it from distance. There's also these ugly goals, you could say, which is goals that a goal scorer should score as well. So I would say that basically he scores. Once he started to score goals, he has scored goals in all kind of manners. But talking about his playing style, obviously he's quite tall. He's maybe not the biggest guy, the most muscular guy, but obviously with his length, he has that kind of physicality that I can imagine he will need in the championship. Also quite fast, and I would say that one of the parts in his game that he has really developed during, I would say, the last couple of months is the link-up play. He's become, I think that he's been a smart footballer all the way, but during maybe the last 10 games in Allsvenskan, the Swedish first division last year, I think that you really could see that he connected very well with his wingers, with his midfielders in a different way in comparison to early on. So quite a complete player, I would say. But obviously, I mean, as we said in the beginning, it's still a young guy, 21 years old, and this sample size of him actually scoring goals on regular basis is quite small. That's obviously, I mean, there's always a question mark when you sign a player, right? And maybe this is it, because to be honest, Priske has never in his senior career he's never scored goals on that basis. It's basically the last 6 months, more or less, of last year.
Yeah, my colleague made this point earlier. I think it's perfect in that if Birmingham had the window of opportunity to get in now, if they'd have waited, they probably wouldn't have been able to sign him if he'd gone and had another 6 months scoring these goals. Maybe clubs in the Premier League probably would have pursued it more aggressively. So I think this is probably the only time they could have signed him, and he is a project for them, like they're a project with him. So it is very interesting. Another thing I'm really interested in is the standard of the Swedish top flight. We've seen Birmingham look at that league in this particular window. They looked at Abdoulaye Mane as well and tried to sign him before that fell through. They've obviously gone for Prriska. Why is it becoming more of a theme? Has the league improved, or has it always been good and maybe we've just all been oblivious to it?
I would say there's a bit of both. Maybe in one way, I would say that they have taken steps, but also I think that some of the clubs, Djurgården especially, has been really good in another way in comparison to 5 or 10 years ago in selling players. I mean, we always compare to Denmark and also Norway, and those two leagues has been much better than the Swedish league when it comes to selling players. And I mean, to sell players, you also have to bring a certain kind of young players, giving them playing time. So I would say that during the last 5, 6, 7 years, that's something that the Swedish teams has been much better at in comparison to earlier. But I mean, in that's always, I mean, basically the question mark you ask when a player is changing environment, coming to a new country. I mean, obviously championship is that's another level, obviously. So we have to see and wait and see and how he can manage. You have to mention Kim Hellberg as well, the Middlesbrough manager. They brought him from Hammarby as well.
Yeah, it's interesting. What sort of level are we talking about here? What level do we think he can reach? Can he go all the way to the top? And I'm interested in kind of, talking back to his profile. Who would we compare him to? I mean, Birmingham City used to have Nicholas Bentner, another Danish striker of a similar profile. Is it that kind of player that we're looking at that Priske can become?
I mean, it's not a bad comparison, actually. I mean, to me, it's actually I could imagine that this was a question you would ask me and compare him to another player. And actually, I thought about it this afternoon, and it's quite hard, I would say, because there is, in my opinion, it's not that usual, this profile of this, as I told you before, this quite physical, tall guy, but he also, I mean, he's played as a winger as well, and he is I mean, he is a good footballer. It's not only the physicality, but Niklas Bentner, I mean, sure, Danish strikers, of course. But to answer your question, how far can he go? I mean, sky's the limit. I would say you never know, and if there was a question mark, that the sample size it's quite small in if we're talking about scoring goals on I mean, he averaged basically 1 goal per game during the last 6 months. I mean, you could also say that's a good thing, because if he managed to take that step in Djurgården, I mean, why wouldn't he be able to do it in Birmingham?
Yeah. It is very interesting. It's Birmingham haven't signed many players like this where the potential does seem to be so high, especially based on, as you say, the last 6 months, which have been ridiculous. The nickname to finish, the nickname and the goal celebration, I really wanted to ask you about these two things. So the nickname Jesus Priskus, where has that come from?
Well, it is quite a funny story. It's I would say it's not totally clear where it actually began, but it came from the supporters from the beginning, and it was during this Conference League. They went all the way to the semifinals, faced Chelsea, and there was some guy or a couple of guys, I'm actually not sure, that I don't know if stickers is the right the right name, you put it on walls and lampposts and whatever when you go at away days. And there is, I don't know if it's one guy or it's a couple of guys who they do this funny stuff about loads of players. It's not only Priske. It's kind of, they're making kind of memes of them, I would say. And why is it the Jesus thing? I don't know really. Basically it's goes well with the name, because Jesus Christ in Swedish is Jesus Kristus, and obviously Jesus Priskus. Yeah, it just works. And I mean, Priske has been, I think one part of it is also that Priske has been so close to the supporters, because that's actually also something you should pinpoint, I would say, because if you would have asked about Priske before he started to score goals, I would tell you that he was quite of a cult player back then. And I mean, obviously you don't have to be the best player to become a cult player, but I think that also says something about who he is. And I mean, he is the guy that, to be honest, he had a tough and rough start in Djurgården, but he's still the kind of guy who, he fight for the badge. His body language is always on an acceptable level. He pushes his teammates and so on and so on. So I think that the Djurgården supporters, they really liked him even before he started to score goals. And Priske liked the supporters. And I think that kind of relationship also built on this like Jesus Priskus thing. And obviously he started to do this celebration, which has to do with the stickers, and there was also I think you could find that picture on somewhere on the internet, but there was also actually a supporter who got a Jesus Priskus tattoo.
Okay.
so yeah, he's made his mark, you could say.
Fantastic. I expect to arrive at St Andrews on Saturday and see loads of Jesus Priskus stickers all around the place, and never know if he does well and scores the goals, maybe some Blues fans will get that tattoo. Jonathan, thank you very much for your insight into August Priske, not Jesus. Yes, thank you very much, and thank you everyone for listening. We hope you have gained some insight there into what Birmingham City's new signing is all about. I'll finish with a big keep right on.